Hello there, Parth Sharma this side, bringing you chess classics in which I am covering top 15 games played by Viswanathan Anand, the Tiger of Madras, as known to his fans by name Vishy. If you're new to this channel, then do take time to like, comment, share and subscribe. If you are already subscribed, then do press the bell icon for future notifications. You will find the BGN of this game that I will be covering in the description box along with some Patreon and PayPal links if you want to contribute to this channel and if you like my work. So the game that I would be looking at is at number 11 and it's his game against Garry Kasparov, another GOAT of his generation. And by GOAT we know that greatest of all time. And Anand had a very tough record against Kasparov because of his intimidating style, Kasparov somewhat known his measure, but in this game he's gonna meet the young Vishy and he's playing against him in this Tilburg 1991 tournament which he won, but which Kasparov won I should say, and this was one of the highlights. This tournament is also known for that famous Niger short game against Jan Timman, in which Short famously walked his king to checkmate Jan Timman, the famous king walk. But this game also was very famous because this was, I would say, another highlight of Anand's wins against Kasparov because there weren't many. And this game lists at number 11 his win against Garry in Tilburg 1991. So without further ado, let's jump onto this game. Anand is white, Kasparov is black. So Anand opens with his customary pawn to e4 and Kasparov opens with his customary move c5 against e4, the Sicilian defense. And there we go. We go into this knight off variation with a6, and now Anand can play Anand has many options. He can go for bishop e3, the English attack, bishop e2, the Opachensky variation, this Lipnitsky variation with bishop to c4, but here he goes for this f4, the Amsterdam variation, which was also quite upbeat during that time, and Kasparov goes for his famous Scheveningen structure after he's played knight off, and this is quite famous because Kasparov has played Sicilian Scheveningen throughout his career against e4 and has had tremendous success. That's why he's called the GOAT of chess. And he plays bishop to d3. This is all very well known. This is all theory. Knight b to d7 by Kasparov, and Anand's next move was quite incredible, so to say. He has a chance to play a4, or let's say to play queen to f3, the so-called Tal variation in queen f3 against Sicilian, which we have seen. Tal's famous game against Bent Larsen, he had played this, and hence the name. But here Anand incredibly castles, and here black has few options. Let me look at the first option that he has. We will look at what Kasparov played. He has this option of playing b5. And let's say after queen to e2, bishop to b7, developing the queen's bishop towards this long diagonal. Preferable. Then comes a4, challenging the queen side. Let's say after b4, the knight goes to d1. And g6, the position still is okay for both colors. And both parties can hold this game very well. Without any dangers, without any threats, the position should stay okay. But here after castles, Kasparov plays, I would say, a double-edged move. Queen to b6. So this knight is pinned, as you can see. But also, he's putting a pressure here. And the first question is that how will you defend this knight? If you move the bishop, that actually hinders the development of the queen side because there is pressure already, big pressure on b2 square or at b2 pawn. But Anand doesn't take any care of this, or I should say Anand doesn't pay any attention to this. Obviously if you move bishop, then e5 is also another threat, by the way, so bear that in mind as well, taking advantage of the spin and actually winning the piece in process. But Anand plays an incredible move in this position, bishop to e3, giving up this pawn on b2, and now it's known as the poisoned pawn variation of Sicilian, and you can see the knight is attacked and the rook is attacked. But okay, the rook is attacked, but it's defended by the queen and by the rook, so there's double battery on that rook. But most importantly, where to play this knight or how to defend this knight, it's not an easy job. Kasparov is a pawn up in this position, and here Anand played an amazing move. I would give you some time, take a pause and think what Anand played in this position. Well, if you found it out, brilliant. And if you just want to see what Anand played in this position, it's knight d to b5, or I should say knight to b5, because you can play even this knight here as well. And this is an amazing move. You have dropped a pawn, and now you're dropping a piece, but you have a tremendous compensation for that. You give this up, knight takes b5, and look at this queen. This queen is running very low on squares. In fact, the queen, except on the b2 square, which the queen already is on, there aren't any good squares available to the queen. And if, let's say, you take the pawn, then rook b1 is a major threat, winning the queen. And the best move here, incredibly, is to play rook to a3 in this position. And if rook b1, queen has to take the pawn. Then comes bishop to d4, preparing rook to a1. As we can see, the queen is running very low on squares. In fact, the queen doesn't have any square to move to. Black plays e5. He can make any move, but in fact, the fact of the matter is that after rook a1, the queen is trapped. But in reality, as you can see, e takes d, rook takes a2, rook takes a2. Black, I would say, tremendous compensation. He has two minor pieces and a rook for a queen, and also he has gained the pawn on a2 as well. So probably a good compensation. And although the material balance would still prefer white, or I should say material imbalance will still prefer white, but I would say that black at least can try and survive this game, especially in this position. But after knight takes b5, Kasparov makes, I would say, a huge mistake in this position, and he plays rook to a5. Now this is different. After rook b1, if you, let's say, play queen takes a2, well, this is the point. Now knight can come to c3 and the queen is trapped again. After queen to a3, rook b3, the queen is dead. And this one is actually lost. You cannot do anything, the queen is gone. Well, you can try to play queen a1, but that actually makes things better for white, because after, let's say, queen takes, you will lose this rook. And you will be a rook down in that position. So not a preferable option. So Kasparov played rook to a5, turns out to be a terrible mistake. Anand plays rook to b1, and now this queen is trapped. So Kasparov, realizing that he cannot save his queen, he takes the knight on b5. Well, that was something forced. Anand takes the queen and rook takes rook, and now why rook a5 was mistake, because after queen a1, now this rook is running very low on squares, and there is only one square which is available to this rook, is that b4 square. And if rook b4, then queen c3 is tremendous, attacking the rook and threatening queen takes d7 check. Very nasty check indeed. So after queen a1, this rook is now trapped. So the rook has to go to b6 to at least gain some material, or I should say take the bishop back. So now he has two minor pieces, I would say, for a rook, and or I should say he still has, yeah, three minor pieces for a rook. As you can see, he has three minor pieces for a rook, but I'm afraid that's not enough for a queen, I should say, but I'm afraid that's not enough in this case, because white's activity is tremendous here. Queen to c3, bishop to e7, so preparing to castle. But now comes another shot by Anand. Take a pause and think what Anand played in this position. Well, if you found it out, brilliant. And if you just want to see what Anand played in this position, rook to b1, just cramping even more. And there aren't any good ways to defend this knight. And if this knight moves, then the bishop drops. So knight is attacked. You can play bishop to d8, but I'm afraid after bishop to b5 check, bishop d7, queen to d4, putting a lot of pressure. If the bishop is captured, then rook takes b5, knight b to d7, knight has to move, then queen takes d6. Black is totally cramped, and this pawn is also going. I'm afraid that's absolutely not enough for black to even survive this game. So after rook to b1, Kasparov plays knight f to d7, somewhat forced to play this move. Anand takes the pawn on g7 and bishop to f6, defending the rook by x-raying it. And now queen to h6 by Anand. So he is keeping a lot of pressure on Kasparov, taking advantage of the mistake that he committed. And obviously it was a very terrible mistake, to say the least, by Kasparov by not playing rook to a3. And Anand is bouncing onto that, but Kasparov is a trier. No wonder he's called GOAT. So he will keep trying, will still continue making complications for Anand. King to e7. So now he's basically trying to connect this rook by any possible means. But here Anand should have played g4 in this position. A better move, to say the least, because it continues attacking towards black's king side. Rook to g8, the pawn is pinned although, but it can still push itself further by playing g5 and attacking this bishop, because if this bishop moves, then things can turn really awry for black. White would simply play king h1 and threaten this bishop, and that would be lost. So bishop must go to g7, or it would have gone anyway to g7 if this king h1 had happened. And after queen h4, simple threat is to play g6, and that will be that, I would say. But after king e7, Anand makes, I would say, a mistake in this position. Bishop to b5, and to Anand's delight, Kasparov didn't take advantage of this mistake. And if he had to, then he should have played e5, and that would have been created a lot of drawing chances for Kasparov, because if pawn takes, then bishop takes, and black has held its fortress, and possibly that cannot be breached successfully, at least. But to Anand's delight, as I said, Kasparov doesn't see that move, and when he sees that, it's too late. He plays rook to g8, which turns out to be a mistake, and after rook to d1, now he sees e5, but I'm afraid it was too late, because Anand has that one move which wins in this position. So take a pause and think what Anand played in this position, which was the only winning move in this position. Well, if you found it out, that's brilliant. You have won this game for yourself. And if you just want to see what Anand played, it's f5, double exclaim move. And this is very important because, as I've already mentioned, if pawn takes, then bishop takes e5, holds the fortress for black. Everything is defended by each other. This rook will come to g6, and it won't be easy to dislodge this rook. Or maybe black would be better in this case, I would say. But still, I would say black would have survived the game. But after e5, Anand played f5, and now it's all gone because now black is somewhat in its zugzwang, where every move loses. So he plays knight to c5, probably the best move in this position. And now again, Anand plays an incredible move. I would give you some time, take a pause and think what Anand played in this position. Well, if you found it out, that's brilliant. And if you just want to enjoy the show and what Anand played, rook takes d6, kaboom! And if king takes, then queen takes, bishop check, and everything is falling. It was found out that knight b to d7 should have been a better try in this position. And if bishop takes d7, but that's the variation, then you have to take the bishop, and queen d2, rook d8. White's attack is still relentless, but at least it can last for a few moves. And after bishop takes d7, if you go for material, let's say to take the rook on d6, but I'm afraid that's not enough because queen takes f6 check is tremendous. And if you pick the bishop, then queen takes f7 check, you're losing the rook, and the game, this passer will be unstoppable then. So after rook takes d6, Kasparov plays bishop to g5, which was a blunder because after queen takes h7, he thought that this queen might retreat somewhere and then he would be able to take the rook. Now if king takes, then queen takes rook. So Kasparov tries another shot, knight takes e4, and if this rook moves, then something devastating might happen, so be ready. So Anand takes the knight on b6, and now Kasparov comes up with rook to d8, threatening rook d1 mate. Kasparov is such a fighter that he has still hold this game to this, but I'm afraid it's not enough. Bishop d3 defends the mate, and bishop e3, although I would say gets a material back, or I should say part of a material back, it's not enough. King f1, bishop takes b6, bishop takes e4, eliminating the knight. So if rook here, then king can come to e2. He plays rook to d4, and after c3 attacking the rook, Kasparov resigns the game. And obviously if rook takes bishop, looks very nice, then comes f6 check. Attack on the rook, and white will win the game. So as it turned out, after c3, Kasparov resigned the game. What a sweet victory. One of those victories that Anand still cherishes. And once again, as we saw, that whenever he talks about Kasparov, he always talks about that impulsive movement of Kasparov, that hidden flaw. And it was quite evident to see that here Kasparov took on b2 and was a bit of an impulsive calculation. But as it turned out, after c3, Kasparov resigned the game, and both are champions, I would say, in my eyes. And yeah, this was also one of the Anand's greatest games, listed at number 11 in my list. So I hope you liked my video. I hope you liked my analysis. I would be coming at number 10 tomorrow. Till then, stay safe. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.